This is a story of the life of a young boy. Now, as I narrate this story, I will try my best to make you understand how it is linked to today's theme. In 2003, a beautiful baby boy was born. And with the birth of this boy, it marked a significant and positive impact on his family, as they'd always wished for the birth of a boy in their family. Growing up, this boy lived a very normal life. He was fed, taken care of. He tried walking and failed multiple times. And like any other child, he cried all the time. Now, let me take you through the story and fast forward 5 years ahead. October 2008. Out of this boy's big extended family, he grew most fond of his mother. He considered her his best friend, and at a very young age, considered her to be one of the biggest pillars of strength in his life. Now, I would like you to stop and think about how you would feel if you lost your best friend. If you lost one of the biggest pillars of support and a ray of hope in your life. On October 5th, 2008, the boy's mother had sadly passed away. As you can imagine, this was a devastating time, not only for the boy, but his family as well. And with this came the first twist to his story. Along with the twist, the boy stumbled upon a few lessons in life that not many learn. Which brings me to my first point. Give up on the fear of loss. I would like you to take from this a lesson that loss is inevitable. It is bound to happen. I don't want you to fear this feeling of loss. Rather, accept it, embrace it, as it is these experiences that truly shape who we are and who we will become. Embracing loss doesn't make you distant, indifferent, or cruel. Rather, it simply teaches you the art of acceptance and peace of mind. Let me continue the story. The boy's family was trying very hard to cope with this immeasurable loss. And 40 days after this tragic event, the boy unexpectedly fell sick and was taken to the hospital. He was then admitted and had to undergo several blood tests and tried different medication. After his tests, one fine day, he was waiting for his father outside the doctor's cabin, overhearing their conversation. And there came the second twist to his story. "I'm sorry," the doctor said to the young boy's father. "Your son has been diagnosed with cancer." Hearing these words, the boy didn't know how to react or feel at the time. All he could think about was the dread of having to swallow another cough syrup. Upon hearing this news, the son and father left their hometown and went to India for medical treatment. After several other tests and a biopsy, the boy was then diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 3, and was now moving towards stage 4. The father and son immediately went to Canada to seek further medical aid. The boy continued his treatment. During his treatment, he got the opportunity to talk to many other patients. And while talking to them, he saw a similar pattern in their thinking. All or most of the patients thought that they had to be strong for their respective families. It was like an obligation. They felt as if the responsibility of their strength had fallen upon them, and if they weren't strong, their families would break down. With this, I come to my second point. Give up on the fear of having to be. Give up on the fear of having to be strong when you aren't, of having to be happy when you are sad, of having to be someone that you aren't, of having to be part of the crowd when maybe you were born to stand out. When you give up on this fear, the fear of having to be, you then truly feel free and at peace, not only with your surroundings, but with yourself as well. Moving on. The boy went through 2 years of treatment. Let me briefly explain to you what he had to go through during these 2 years. His treatment started off with 1 sick cycle of chemotherapy, which is basically poison being injected into your body and killing not only your cancer cells, but your normal cells as well. He then went through another sick cycle and a harsh 4 cycle, which left him in a fatal condition. The recovery of this boy was worrisome for the doctors, and he was in an unstable condition. But the boy soon recovered, yet his struggles didn't end there. He then had to undergo several months of radiotherapy, which destroyed his immune system completely, and he will be on thyroid medication for the rest of his life. Luckily, the boy entered his remission in the year 2010, and his remission period finished in the year 2015. The boy, ladies and gentlemen, is the same boy that's standing in front of you today. Through my treatment, I learned many valuable lessons, which brings me to my third and final point. Give up on the fear of what if. What if this happens? What if that happens? During my treatment, I never had the luxury to think about what if. Because there were so many possibilities as to what could go wrong. If I started thinking about what if, I would have driven myself insane. Now, before I end this talk, I would like to leave you with one final piece of advice. Do not let your past experiences or your thoughts and worries about the future stop you from living in the present. Do not let them obstruct your vision of what is right in front of you. Now let me sum up what we talked about. We firstly talked about having to give up on the fear of loss. Secondly, the fear of having to be. And thirdly, the fear of what if. When each and every one of you are able to give up on the fear of these 3 things, then all of you will be able to see life experiences differently from the lens that I do. Thank you.